Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies. The only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. And it's just Marco here once again. I am here to review Minamata. Did you understand that? Minamata. 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 This is the newest Johnny Depp film. And it's all about Johnny Depp, his character, this photographer guy for Time magazine. And it's all about him being really old and being really useless. And then he goes and he goes to Japan to investigate this mysterious poisoning where there's all these Japanese people and they're poisoned, they're sick. And they think it's because of the water, because of this nearby plant dumping chemicals into the water, especially with lead in it, I guess. And so it's, I think, and so it's like they're getting poisoned, and it's like, oh shit, because it's really, I'll talk about how it's unbelievable. That I'll say that, but this movie. It's got Johnny Depp, it's got Scorpion, it's got, the main actress is good, and it's a good film. It's another good film from this year. It's a pretty good film. And it's really scary though. I mean, it's like it's like a horror movie almost. I mean, you watch it and it's like, this is so disgusting and evil. You got these people, it's like this small fishing village, and so that they can only get fish from this water, and so they're getting the fish are diseased, and so they're eating diseased fish. It's like really dark, and like it's really awful. It's really bad. It's one of those movies that you watch it and you're like, whoa, oh my god, how did I not know about this issue? And I would say that it's good for that reason. So that's one pro to this movie. Another thing is Johnny Depp, man. Johnny Depp's performance is the best performance he's given in years. I'm serious. It is a fantastic performance. It is just, it's like, what? See, look, like, you guys who are all like, oh my god, Johnny Depp, he's just this washed up hack. He can't act. He's got to do these disguises. And it's like, you watch this movie and it's like, what are you guys talking about? Like, why are you it's almost like people are like trying to determine the fate of actors. It's like, oh, because I go on Twitter and say Johnny Depp is the worst actor of all time, then studios are never going to hire him again, and people are just, let's just forget about that guy now. Let's just move on to the next one. Okay, who's next? Timothée Chalamet. He's in everything. He looks like a girl. Oh, but he's amazing, quote unquote. And then years later, it's going to be, Timothée Chalamet is a total hack. Get rid of him. And just get rid of him. And it's like, that's a shitty thing to do. That's a really shitty thing to do. And I see that a lot nowadays. That never happened back then. It would happen internally. It would happen in the studios. Like people, like you saw him Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That actor, he was not of his time anymore, and the studios were saying, you gotta adapt or die, or not work again and do something else, and he had to adapt. And it's the same thing with this case, but this is different. It's like people are now thinking that they're so powerful that they're going to decide actors' fates. They're going to decide who works and who doesn't by Twitter, and I just think that that's ridiculous. And then you got bitches like Amber Heard who are doing that too, because they're throwing out these false accusations against people in order to get them no more work as well. And you know what? This movie is It's really good, and it's really a showcase of Johnny Depp's talent. And I say that as someone who's been very, very fair with him. I did not like him in certain movies like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, movies like that. Ugh. Ugh. But then he's got these other movies, Nightmare on Elm Street, Ed Wood, this movie, where he's just fantastic. And it's like, look, we need more of him. We need more of that acting. Let's not pick apart the actor. Let's pick apart the studios for saying, yes, let's make Charlie and the Chocolate Factory where Johnny Depp is playing Michael Jackson. That's the studio's choice that they made. That's not Johnny's choice. I mean, obviously it was his choice to take the part, but still, it's the studio's decision to say, no, that is not a good idea. We are going to use you, Johnny, to the best of your ability, like in this movie, Minamata. And what else about this movie was good? Well, it looked good. It was nice and colorful. I liked that. It was not like... It kind of sucked out a bit of the color, but not very much. It's a big, big pet peeve of mine to suck out the color of movies. Especially, you see it with period pieces where, this movie takes place in the 70s, so that means everything has to be yellow and brown. This movie takes place in the 80s, so that means everything's gotta be red and yellow. This movie takes place in the 1600s, so that means everything has to be gray and white. It's ridiculous, this color filtering. And so I liked how this movie looked. It had a nice look to it. And I thought overall the other performances were good. The movie was enjoyable. And yeah, overall I liked it. Now let's get to some downsides, because there are a couple of things. Number one, this movie was not very impactful. It tried to be, but it was not. And the reason is because of the director. The director filmed this movie just like events happen. He did not really film them stylistically, especially to make it more interesting. He just okay, now the bad guys come into the house and beat them up and search their house illegally. That happened. And then the next thing just happens. And then you got Johnny Depp giving an amazing performance. Then stuff just happens. And, that's not a good way to make a movie. He basically just filmed the script. He just filmed it. He's like, okay, film the script. He did not really add anything good to make it more of a movie experience. It was very typical. It was very, we've seen this before with these historical type of films. The way that it was shot, it was just so basic and bare, and it really was not well done in terms of that. And I think that was the biggest issue, because there were all these events that happened that were just really some dark stuff. Spoiler alert, it's history. I mean, you can't spoil history. There's this part where they're protesting inside the building of the company that did the stuff. Sorry, I watched this movie months ago, but I didn't film a review until now for some reason. So I don't remember the names and stuff like that. Sorry about that. But they're in the company and they're awaiting the decision. They're protesting in there, and the head of the company basically says, "F you. We're not giving you anything because we can't afford to. We can't give you any money to help with taking care of your family who's, they're suffering. It is evil. These people are so evil. It's so gross to watch." And so there's this one guy, and he slits his wrists right in front of him, and you'd think that this would be an intense moment, a moment that if you saw that happening in real life, where this guy just suddenly slit his wrist and he's dying, it's a brutal sounding scene. But the way that it's shot, it's just like, okay. Then the guy slits his wrists. People crowd. People yell. Stuff happens. And then, like, especially the climactic scene, I'll say, well, that was a good scene. There was a good scene where he takes the most iconic picture, and that was a very good scene because it's just of not revealing and then revealing at the end. That was very, very impactful, I'll say. But there was another scene where they burned down his work shed where he's got all of his pictures and equipment and stuff. And, this should be a really, really, like, dark, impactful scene. I'm thinking of, like, JFK, Oliver Stone type of scene. And instead, it's just like, okay, now Johnny Depp runs outside. Sorry about that. Shed burns down. Stuff just happens. And it's like, that's just boring. It's just not. Come on, this scene is important. We gotta make this scene look good. We gotta make it look. We gotta make it look good. We can't make it. Don't do that. Shoot the movie. Make your own movie. Don't make the script. Make the movie. Go watch Hitchcock. Go watch Hitchcock movies. He shows you how to make a movie. He shows you. You take the script, you make a movie. You don't make the script, you make a movie. But other than that, this was a good film, I'll say. Like, even with that criticism, it was still a good film. And I might watch it again, honestly. I mean, it is a little long. I'll say that's another thing. It's a little long, and the way that things are filmed makes it feel longer than it actually is, just because of how badly it's shot and how it's not interestingly shot. But still, I would rate this movie, when you just get a chicken breast and you put it in the oven and you put some salt and pepper on it and then you eat the chicken breast, that's this movie. That is this movie to a T. This movie is a basic chicken breast with salt and pepper that you put in the oven and you eat it. And that's it. That's this, and you slice it up, of course, to make it better, more appealing than just that blob of chicken. You chop it into slices, and that's this movie. It's very basic. It's very bare. But it's still good because of Johnny Depp, his amazing performance, the other great actors. You got Scorpion from Mortal Kombat, the shitty one. So yeah, I like this movie, and I highly recommend that you check it out once if you're interested in this subject, because that's another thing. If you know about this subject, you probably won't like the movie. I mean, it's not. It's kind of like Snowden in a way, where, if you know about the stuff with Snowden, then you just don't really need to watch the movie. It's really not special like with other historical movies that are like very, very well done, like with JFK and Quiz Show. Those movies really elevate the true story and make it into a cinematic experience that's separate from the real events. This movie does not separate. It is just, okay, that happened. Let's just scroll down the Wikipedia page. That happened. And but it's still good. I recommend it. So please like it. Like this video. If you liked it, comment. Tell me what you thought of this movie. And then subscribe if you'd like to see more reviews, because I'll be doing a video every day. Except for Sundays, because, I don't know, for some reason, it's good to have one day a week that you don't do a video. And Sunday, it's a busy day for me, as opposed to other people. So yeah, goodbye everybody, see you soon.